Hey guys, it's Sarah and welcome back to a new video. So today I'm actually doing a review on the Clio Liquid Pro Artist Liquid Concealers, and I'll be showing you guys all three types that I recently purchased. And again, right now my face is all complete, but in the next few seconds you'll be seeing a bare face and a walkthrough demonstration and I guess review along the way, but then again I'll be back after just to give my final review. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. That is so cringy. Ooh. So onto the demo, I'll be starting off with the Clio Pro Artist Liquid Concealer in the shade Orange. Basically, I'm just going to apply 3 lines right here and a little bit on my eye. So I guess the only area of my face that has discoloration is my eyes and sometimes around my lips. I do like to use this for like some sort of brightening effect. And then I would be using a sponge or sometimes a brush. It really depends on what I feel like using, but from here today I'll be using a sponge and yeah, I'm just blending it out. Oh shoot, I should have just filmed one side first. Dang it. That's alright. I guess I'll just show you guys how I apply it instead. So there's days where I want a really natural, I guess, base makeup, so that's when I'd use a sponge because I feel like it doesn't take away too much product from the sponge, like it doesn't absorb too much, so I'm left with a natural finish. But if I want something a little bit more full coverage, then I would use a brush. But today, yeah, I just feel like using a sponge. Now I'm gonna go on with the Clio Pro Artist Liquid Concealer in the shade number 4 Ginger. And I'm just going to apply it exactly the same how I applied it. But I also like to spot conceal certain acne scars and spots that I see that I do want to cover before I put my foundation on. I'd rather conceal everything before I apply my foundation. Like, I don't know how you guys can take me seriously while I'm talking like this, but anyways, we'll just keep blending it in. And the reason why my throat or my voice sounds really rough, it's because I just woke up, so I wanted to quickly film this for you guys. So I do like to conceal the sides of my nose first, like the what's it called? Oh, the lighting's changing. Shit. I do like to conceal the redness using this concealer before foundation. I feel like it just helps neutralize everything. And same for the eyelids. I like to conceal the eyelids. And then onto the actual under eyes. And I put whatever's left on my nose. And whatever's left on my chin as well. So as you can see, just from doing that little bit of concealing, it's pretty much covered a lot of imperfections on my complexion. And from here, it looks like I really don't need to put a lot of foundation. So this is why I like to put concealer beforehand, so it helps me determine how much I really need for my foundation. And usually I don't really need a lot nowadays, so concealer is my best friend with helping me, conceal little spots here and there, and then the foundation just gives like the overall balance of my face makeup. So I'm going to go on to my foundation and do the rest of my makeup, and then we'll get on to the review for you guys. I've done the rest of my makeup, everything's done, and then I forgot that I had the Clio Pro Artist Liquid Shading. I honestly do not use this, to be honest. It in fact actually matches my skin tone. It's just a little bit darker than my natural skin tone, so I don't really use this, but I'm going to use it on my nose. It doesn't really work as a contour, but it actually works pretty well on my nose as a nose contour. It gives that very natural definition, so it's not too crazy or anything. It's very natural looking. So I do like to use this on my nose, but it's not something I reach out for compared to the color corrector and the actual concealer. This is a little bit whatever to me, but it does really apply well on the nose, and from there it's probably hard to tell, but it looks a lot more defined. So I'm back with the rest of my face, and that must have been very weird for these guys because I don't usually do my reviews like this, but yeah, I mean, regardless, I'll still talk about each concealers now. So I'll start off with the Kill Cover Pro Artist Liquid Color Concealer, and there are 3 shades here. There is 1 orange, 2 green, and 3 purple. So the green tone is basically for blemishes or redness that you do want to kind of like neutralize, and then purple is a shade that's for dullness, so more like darker areas that you want to kind of eliminate and enhance. And the orange tone is basically for your dark circles, like blue tones, and it just helps color correct and brighten up that area. And what I love the most about this color corrector is that it's just so easy to use. I mean, I did love my Trude House Big Cover Cushion color corrector, but once the cushion breaks off, that's when it's not really as easy as it was to use. But this will always remain consistent because it is in a wand applicator, so it's really easy, and you can just take this with you anywhere and you can just blend it out with your fingers. It's easy. So I do like that. I do like the packaging of this a lot more. It definitely does color correct. It, you know, improves my dark circles. You can still see the shadow, but you know, of course, you can't permanently get rid of that through makeup, but it just gives that illusion that you're very wide awake and you know you've had enough sleep when really you haven't had enough sleep. So onto the Kill Cover Pro Artist Liquid Concealer. I got mine in the shade number 4 Ginger. This is either the darkest or the second darkest shade that's available, and this is probably the concealer that I was most intrigued about. As for this concealer, it's meant to be a matte finish, a very hydrating concealer, sebum controlling and long lasting, and really this concealer really does the job. It doesn't crease too much on my under eyes, which is great because I do have a lot of fine lines, but also because I am someone who gets a little bit worried throughout the day, I do like to set it regardless, even though it doesn't crease too much. Coverage and yet lightweight formula, it's not overwhelming. Sometimes when you want a full coverage concealer, the consistency of it tends to be quite thick, and I don't like that because I can't cake around my under eyes when I have such fine lines. But this, it is the opposite. It's, you know, really creamy yet matte and hydrating, and it sits well on the under eyes, and it just does the job. And you know, the combination of the color corrector and the concealer is the best, and you know, just looking at it, this is like my 2 holy grail face products, so it's really important in my makeup collection nowadays. And a 1 to 2 shade lighter concealer is great for the dark circles. As you guys know, it provides a natural highlight that just brings your dark circles out forward, and it just makes you look less tired. So even if you don't have such severe dark circles and you don't need to color correct, just using this concealer will just help brighten the under eye area and just make you look really wide awake, and I like that. But you know, for me, I do need to color correct for me to be content with my dark circles. But yeah, this concealer by itself is worth trying out, and I do love it. And you know, although it took me a while to try it out, I'm glad that I did, and I would definitely recommend that. So the last product that I almost forgot about was the Kill Cover Pro Artist Liquid Shading, and it's not exactly a shade that's worth being considered as a contouring shade for my skin tone. It doesn't really add a strong definition to what I personally like, but you know, of course I still had to try it out and see how I could put some good use to this. And I discovered that using this on my nose for nose contouring would work. So I don't directly apply it onto my nose because it is a little bit too I guess heavy, like there's too much product, so I like to put some onto the back of my hand, and using I guess like a blending brush, I like to just apply it and create that natural contour on the sides of my nose to just define it, and I actually like it. It is very moisturizing and it is a little bit more creamier than the concealer and the corrector, but it still blends out very seamlessly and it still blends out matte as well. So in terms of its finish and all that, it's quite similar to the rest of the concealers that is in the Kill Cover range. In the shading kit, it also came with a sponge, and at first I thought it was the actual Clio sponge that looks like the Real Techniques one, but it wasn't. It was more like a freebie type, and it is very hard and it doesn't absorb water, so that's when I knew it wasn't the actual sponge. So yeah, first impressions when I first tried this with this sponge, I hated it because one, the sponge didn't absorb the water, so it wasn't like a soft sponge, and it just ruined the formula of the application and it made it look really cakey and I hated it. But this sponge just really made my first impressions on the concealer really bad. But you know, now I know how to use it and I have my own techniques on how I use these, so it works perfectly for me now, and you know, I really like these concealers. That was a weird voice crack. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my review. I don't have anything else to say today, so I guess that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!